Number 3 in a best-of-7 championship series here in the Major Indoor Soccer League. A pleasant good evening, everyone. I'm John Paul Della Camera. Alongside me is Seamus Mallon. Setting the stage for you, Dallas is trailing it. They've lost the first couple of games, so they trail 2-0, and thus far in the MISL, no team has ever come back and won a series after trailing 2-0. Seamus, a tough task ahead for Dallas, but they're at home tonight. They might be able to do something.
I think they have a very good chance. A do-or-die situation for them. They got to win tonight, or else it's pretty much all over. On the other hand, if you're the visiting team, you want to come into the other team's building and steal one of the 2 games, and this is the one you focus on because it's awfully good to be up 3-0 and not worry about the 4th game quite so much.
Let's take a look at Tacoma's players to watch. There's some great ones.
Well, they have great offensive power for sure, particularly these 2 players here, Jungle and Brecky. Jungle just got his 100th career goal. Brecky, 5 goals, 6 assists in the first 2 games. He's really hot. But they got great goalkeeping, too, at the back in Dollar and Papaleo. Papaleo will start tonight.
And it's not just the big 4 that have done it for the Tacoma Stars, as head coach Alan Hinton explains.
Well, I think if you've got good talent, individual players who can perform very well on the night, and that's all developed in a team concept, and the team works very hard as a team, and individuals come through and do their own job, then you've got great teamwork, and I think we've had it all year, and I'm very pleased with our efforts so far.
And as we take a look at the Dallas Sidekicks players to watch, Seamus, a bit of a different story. Not as many great players, let's say, as Tacoma.
No, except probably the greatest player of the game so far this season, Tatu, who's broken all the scoring records of this club, certainly most valuable player. He's personally taken the responsibility for 2 losses. At the back, Chris Sobieski and Victor Moreland will be very anxious to make up for 2 bad performances.
And even though it's been a big team effort for Dallas, basically a couple of players have carried them all year.
I think the secret of our success this year really has revolved around a team effort, but in particular 2 young men stand out, and that of course is Chris Sobieski in the goal and Tatu up front. Chris has given us the most important thing. He's given us tremendous consistency in the goal, and he's kept us in games and brought off saves at very vital times, and he's built a confidence around the team because of his performance. Tatu, well, as you know, what words can you describe Tatu? He's just been unbelievable to score 73 goals this year, to play as he has done, and at one stage really carried us through the centerpiece of the regular season. His efforts and his goals alone kept us at the top of the league and in with a chance to come into the playoffs. So they have been both absolute marvelous men for this team.
Tacoma looking to win it here on the road and go up by 3. Joe Papaleo getting the start in goal. He had a great Game 6 against the San Diego Sockers, and that was followed up by Mike Dowler playing ever so well in Game 7. That used to be his teacher in Pittsburgh when Sobieski was the #1 goalkeeper and Papaleo was breaking in, and Joe gives a lot of his success, a lot of credit to it, to Sobieski. They're still great friends. Ball played into the corner now for Jungle. Picked up his 100th career playoff goal. He's kicked right away by David Stryan. That might be setting the tone for the match early, Seamus.
Well, they got to stay out of the 6th foul situation that they got into several times in the past couple of games. But you see the scoring situation. Tacoma scores early in both halves. First period, 5 goals. Second period, 4 goals, while shutting out their opponents. That's a very interesting statistic.
Ball knocked down to it. It's loose. Look out for Brecky, and he missed it. Looked like he just kicked it off the side of his foot. He was open, and there's a hot score. He had 4 goals and 4 assists in game number 1. And 5 goals, 6 assists, 11 points in the 2 games. Uncharacteristic miss for him there.
Boy, I couldn't quite understand what he was doing. He had all the time in the world and still trying to get more. But Brecky unable to get the ball into him. And so it's a tough situation for the second defender to know whether or not to go out and try to help or stay tight on your own man.
Jungle plays it in for Heel. That's blocked once by Wes McLeod. Now Brecky got it back, and Sobieski will stop that. Gary Heel yelling because he was wide open. But Brecky thought he had to pull the trigger right away and get the element of surprise going. Tatu broken up now by Heel. Tatu has had a quiet series so far, but it's because of the way Tacoma's playing him, and we'll talk more about that as the game progresses. A long ball now to Gary Heel, kicked away by the doctor, Doc Lawson. Out of play it goes. 13-19 to go in this the opening quarter. There's no score. Lawson right now leads this team in scoring against Tacoma, and when you look at it, you'll find that Doc Lawson, Mark Carpenter, and David Strider are leading them in scoring, and if that is to happen throughout the way, they're not going to win in this series. The big guns have to come through, the Tatus and the Willie Milanos, in order for Dallas to be successful. He's going to tell you right now how difficult it's been to try and change things because Tatu has been covered so well.
Yeah, tonight we have to get Tatu a little bit freer, or we certainly have to get other people to pick up the slack. You know, when they're double teaming and sometimes triple teaming, there are other people unmarked. And what we have to do is to get the ball quickly freed from Tatu and away to other players in other areas. We did this superbly against Cleveland and Baltimore, and because of that, I think we got through. Now, in the last two games, we have not done this as well, and we've paid the price. We've not really got as much offense, and you know, deservedly at this moment, Tacoma are 2 up. We must get Tatu free, or we must free up other people. That's the key factor, I think, for tonight's game.
Back on the action, it's still scoreless. 2 shots and 2 saves for each club. Right side intended for Gray. Mike Powers defending. Jerry Gray to the corner. 2 players after him. Gray still controlling it. Gave it up to Hill, but there was a whistle and a foul call.
Jerry Gray took him down, the 3rd foul by Tacoma. And, of course, we're counting these fouls because when the 6th foul occurs, it's a man-down situation for the fouling team in a power play situation. There's Alan Hinton in your picture, who's done such a great job with this team this year, and of course had a very satisfying victory over Ron Newman and the San Diego Sockers. That's probably the keenest rivalry in the sport, and Alan has brought a lot of excitement to the Pacific Northwest with this exciting team. Here, not Ingram. Watch Tukes' elbow come in here, his right elbow, as he fights off a player, and he's not. And then I think the whistle goes, and at that point he may kick the ball away.
That's what it was. He's not allowed to kick that ball again, and that's what he does.
There's the whistle. He puts his foot on the ball, and then he kicks it away as Smith tries to get in for the free kick. And that may very well be what it's for. Tukes is, in fact, the penalty box, so our apologies to the Ingram family up there in Tacoma. It was not Godfrey. I saw Godfrey sort of arguing with the referee, and I thought the referee took the card out and pointed to him, but not the case. So power play now for Dallas.
And let's see what the Sidekicks do with it. 36.3 is their percentage in the playoffs. And now Marty Templin's got something, maybe on the Tacoma bench, a bench warning. Alan Hinton there, Tony Chersky, and Ralph Black, but it's only a bench warning, not a time penalty. I like that rule because it just gives the bench a chance to get something off their chest without being penalized. And every time this year that they've given the warning, I've never seen the card come out because coaches know a warning when they get one like that. On the right side, here's Tatu. Playing it back to midfield. Molano. On the left side to David Stride. There's a look at the Stars penalty killing. Their specialty teams have done it. Lawson on the right. Sends it in low. Stride came in late and couldn't get it. Didn't see where that ball was going, and he was unable to get there. Willie Milano with it. On the man advantage for Dallas. It's scoreless. 7:34 to go in the opening quarter. Game 3 in the best of 7. Dallas trails 2 games to none. Up for Tatu. Knocked away by Megson. Taken away. Willie Milano. Slides it for Lawson. In the corner. Door Carpin. They had Papaleo out for a second and then couldn't get it back to an open man. Milano to Lawson. The doctor. Rejected by Papaleo with 1:13 left in the power play. Willie Milano again over the red line. Still in a scoreless tie to David Stride. Back to Milano by the arc. Off the boards. Lawson. Low. Tatu got a piece. And it was kicked away. Into the first row of seats it goes. It belongs to Dallas, but they came close.
Well, saving clearance by Waters in there. As we'll take another look at it, you see this ball come in, and Tatu is right on it. But Waters manages to get the quick foot and knock it away.
Joe Waters, who comes into the game with 40 block shots. A playoff record set last year by Gary Etherington at 47, I would have to think, is in some jeopardy. Here's Mark Carpin. Watch out for him. As we told you before, he's got those 7-hour play goals. He leads the MISL. Milano from Lawson, 50 seconds left in the power play. It's scoreless. Stride tees it up. It's loose. Carpin scores!
Well, you call it, JP. Carpin gets set up here. The ball squirts through. He knows exactly that he can turn fast. No time to set it up. Just turn and slot the ball. Defenders go down. The keeper goes down in front of him, and he gets it up over them both. Stride puts the ball in. The caroms off a couple of bodies, but Carpin is the fastest turn and just slams it in off the inside of that post. So 1-0 Dallas after 8.5 minutes.
Mark Carpin gets credit for the goal. We'll see if Tatu got a piece of that. If he did, they'll give him the assist. Otherwise, it should go to David Stride as Wes McLeod brings it up. Dallas leads early for the first time in this series as it's played back to Joe Papaleo. Let's see how Dallas plays it with the lead, because as you mentioned in the beginning, they've been trailing. In fact, it was 3-0 the other night, early. Tough to keep rebounding when you're down. Sobieski, their MVP a year ago. On the left side, Victor Moreland. Back for David Stride. 1 minute to go in the opening quarter. Dallas with a 1-0 lead. On Carpin's power play goal, Milano in traffic. Couldn't get through. Now Stride will try. He'll try a different approach. His long pass blocked by Gray to Ralph Black. Ralph Black started off his indoor career at 18 years of age. He's a veteran now at 23 as he's played back to Papaleo. Joe Papaleo brings it out to the arc. Now to MISL. Back for Papaleo. Moreland right there. Papaleo lifting it, and Lawson gets higher than Gray. Dallas has won a lot of balls in the air so far as Stride sends it in. Collision there as Tatu tried to draw a foul, but that was him going into the boards rather than Ralph Black taking him there. 16 seconds left. Actually, they're trying to get the 6th foul on Tacoma as this ball goes the other way. Must have hit off someone off the bench as we look at Steve Jungle. Imagine scoring in 53 of 56 playoff games. Only 3 times has he failed to score a goal, and probably in every one of those games, though, Seamus, he was still a factor because somebody's going to watch him.
He's got tremendous experience. He's the captain of this team, and he knows exactly what is needed in the championship series apart from his own performance as a scorer.
Ball played in. Moreland with a header, and Papaleo up to win it. I'm sure as 5 seconds are left on the clock, it's no coincidence Jungle has been in 5 championship series, and he has played on the winning side each time. At the end of 15 minutes of play, Dallas has the crowd on their feet. A Mark Carpin goal. His 12th of the playoffs is the only goal thus far. Dallas by 1.
Yeah, David Stride just knocking into a forest of legs there in the middle. It squirts off Tatu and then off a defender, but Carpin really turns beautifully on a dime and just slots it in off the inside of the post. So his 8th power play goal, and what an opportunist he is for Dallas as Tatu struggles a bit to get his goal-scoring form back.
Well, Carpin's a guy that missed almost an entire year. He is now 100% recovered from a knee injury suffered a couple of years ago. Actually, in the second game of last season, he scored a hat-trick in Game 1, and in the second game, he was injured and missed most of the regular season and just came on, as I recall, in the playoffs. First quarter stats show the shots even. Saves are pretty close. It was a pretty rough opening quarter, and I think the officials, Seamus, wanted to set the tone early, maybe figuring Dallas was going to be a little bit more physical here, down 2 games to nothing and in front of a home crowd, so they were calling things a little tight in the first quarter. We may see that change a little bit later on.
Well, I think they also felt, certainly Dallas felt that they were treated a bit roughly up in Tacoma. I wasn't there, I didn't see what happened, but the reports in the paper certainly suggest that a couple of that David Stride in particular was singled out by a fan and had to be rescued by some of his brethren, but whether or not that's hype or a little exaggeration or reality, I'm not really sure, but they certainly came out strong.
Tatu looking to get behind Megson, an all-star defender, as this ball is cleared and it lands in the Tacoma Stars bench as the second quarter is underway. There's a look at Tatu.
Yeah, it was a very scrappy first period, really. There you see his amazing statistics. And you heard that they have to free him up. We haven't seen quite as many episodes of his being double-teamed. On the other hand, he hasn't had many touches on the ball yet.
Alan Hinton, as he talked to us before the game about that success.
Well, I think I'm very happy with our success this year. I am surprised. I'm very pleased that all the teams around the league now are recognizing that Tacoma are a good team, that we've earned the right to be here. We want nothing better than to win this championship and make a very, very good city of Tacoma. Very happy and very proud of our achievements.
Well, Seamus, to putting Tacoma on the map, actually, as a city. Most people know of Tacoma as being basically another city up in the northwest next to Seattle, but Tacoma's been more successful than their Seattle teams of late because of this team. This team, again, starting off slowly like most expansion teams do, but in their 4th year, they're in a championship. And a credit to John Bent, who is here watching this game. As we again look at Tatu, and a tremendous credit, of course, to Steve Jungle, who turned it around, and then Alan Hinton, who had a nurture. It's not easy to win with Jungle. Other teams have done it, obviously, but you've got to get players that can play with him, just like you need with Tatu here, and then you need the chemistry and the guy that can blend all the personalities together, and Hinton has done that marvelously. Welcome back, and as you can see by the celebration, it's tied up at 1. Godfrey Ingram, and I think this one's deflected on the way.
Yeah, it seemed to hit off David Stride, I think, as it went through there, although it's a little hard to see on the replay. It certainly fooled the goalkeeper, who really was in a pretty good position, but a long-distance shot, really, we haven't seen much of that tonight. Most of them blocked way outside, but yet another yellow card being issued here, and it might be to Tatu.
Well, he was arguing something from along the near side, and now our view was blocked, so I'm not sure what Marty Templin was talking to Tatu about. But, and I didn't see how the ball went out on that side of the field. But let's take a look at the goal again. The ball short hopped somewhere along the way. I believe, or I thought it hit David Stride, but it did short hop somewhere by the arc. And if it did indeed go off of Stride, whatever happened, it did change direction on Sobieski and went right up. And there's a look at Ingram. 52 goals during the regular season, 9 in the playoffs, and his 3rd of this series. Tatu also has a penalty for dissent.
Yeah, well, Tatu was taking a lot of blame in the press, as I said, here in Dallas the last 2 days, because he felt that he had been getting on his teammates rather than encouraging them. And so he felt he needed to turn things around a little bit in terms of his attitude and his performance vis-a-vis them. They didn't seem particularly worried about it. They know he's a winner for them. They're willing to take some criticism if the game isn't going well, but he was quite upset with himself about it. Now tonight he's going to be more upset by having let his discipline drop and give him a penalty away.
Well, this is not what Dallas wants. Not only do they give up a goal, but a power play right back. So there's an opportunity here for Tacoma to take the lead.
15 seconds left on the power play.
Ball played across now to Ingram. To Precky. Beats Powers. Left-footed drive deflected wide of Sobieski. Ingram coming into the crowd. Won it. Hill will get it back. 4 seconds left and Tatu will be out. Precky with it. Played in. It's deflected wide. And now finally Heel runs back to get Tatu. For a moment it looked like they might have forgotten about him. Tatu after it. And now he disappears from view. Gets right back up. Never really hit the deck. On the left side to Willie Milano. Milano trying to draw Black to him. Plays it off the boards. Tatu looking to get it. It's cleared out. Precky chasing it. So does David Stride with 6:12 to go. First half and it's tied at 1. But Dallas does a nice job in killing off the penalty. Otherwise, Tacoma would have taken the lead for the first time. Tatu working against Mason. To the right side. Played it across. Score! Moreland may get it. If not, it went off Davis.
I think it went off Moreland.
Well, Tatu has not thrown the jersey, so he must think it's Victor Moreland's goal.
Yeah, but I'll tell you, Tatu should throw the jersey because he engineered that whole goal. And it was one of those situations now where Dallas was able to get a one-on-one situation for Tatu on the boards where he's so lethal because he can accelerate away from the boards faster than just about anybody. Look at him get away from the boards here and get the cross in, and it touches off Moreland's heel. He doesn't know what he's done, but he managed to knock it in the net. Victor Moreland, and we talked about at the top of the show, was an important man. Now look at Tatu get away. A second player comes over, but it's too late for a double team situation because Tatu broke away.
And on the end of that, what is that? The Northern Ireland shuffle that Victor Moreland is doing? In any event, he's a happy player. He should get credit for that goal as it's a 2-1 lead now for the Dallas Sidekicks. They have recaptured the lead. 4:58 remaining. Second quarter, and it's a 2-1 lead here in favor of the Dallas Sidekicks, and that's what's going to happen if these games are necessary. 5 is Tuesday in Tacoma, Thursday back here, and if it needs a Game 7, it's next Saturday in Tacoma. But clearly, Seamus, as you've said before, this is the game. If Dallas wins it, they've got some momentum. Maybe they beat them again tomorrow, and then maybe it's going to be one of those series, much like San Diego-Tacoma, that goes the full 7. They cannot afford to lose here and be down 3-0 going into the 4th game tomorrow.
Exactly. Then they've got to work extra hard. They've gotten away. They had a few breaks so far tonight. Not a lot of breaks at the scoring end, but they certainly have scraped out of some very, very dangerous situations, particularly at the very, very beginning of the game when they looked a little lax and left some players open and then were committing a fair number of fouls. But they survived all that, have a 2-1 lead, so they got to feel good about that. but 2-1 is nowhere near good enough against a club of Tacoma's caliber.
Wes McLeod heading it. Black does the same thing to Gray. For Jungle, he and Lawson collide, and then Jungle tried to break free, and he's upset. He wanted an advantage call because Tacoma had the ball, but when Jungle was clipped, the whistle sounded right away.
Well, there's the replay. Lawson whacking Jungle from behind, and we're back live.
Played up in the backside for Ralph Black as Tatu was over Megson. Now it's in for Jungle. A well-timed ball makes it off the goalpost and out. The red light went on.
It went in. That went in. It came right off. It came back out from the support bar, the stanchion in the back. What a great piece of work, though, by Jungle. That ball played into him on a lob. His first touch on it was wonderful. He killed it dead and then touched it right into the stride of the player, and it was up in the back of the net before you could say anything. And it came out real fast, so it looked like it wasn't in, but it sure was. We'll see it again. Now watch this. Well, we're just seeing the touch at the end, but the first touch was what really set this up, because the finish is pretty, obviously, by Megson. But the touch on the long pass forward is really superb. We'll take another look at it here. Ralph Black with a long bunch. Now watch his first touch there, right at his feet, and he a little half volley in, and Megson just can knock it up.
Well, the sidekick players were saying no goal. The goal judge put the red light on, and the officials did not rule it off. Well, what a first goal, though, from Megson to remember. But the pass is what made it. Jungle, a lot of players wouldn't have even been able to put that ball under control. Would have a hard time, just like I had a hard time explaining that. Second straight year that Silby won that many games. Finally starting to get the credit that he deserves for being one of the better goalkeepers in the league. Here's Lawson in a corner. Coming back, puts it on the left foot. Oh, he's taken down. That's the 6th foul. That could have gone either way. They could have called that 2 minutes or the 6th foul. I jumped the gun by calling it the 6th foul. In that case, so if Davis doesn't dump Lawson, he's going to be all alone at the top of the arc, ready to tee it up. So Dallas will have a power play, and let's show you how they got it.
Well, good move by Doc Lawson, putting a lot of pressure on Rick Davis. Rick goes in with the right foot. Dawson had just flicked the ball away a second before. You see the flick away. There's the flick away. There's the late tackle. And very good dribbling by Lawson, and just an ill-timed tackle by Rick Davis, who really hasn't shown us very much in this match so far. He's been primarily a defensive kind of player, and they're not the kind of defense that his coach would want. So it's now a very good opportunity with 2 minutes on the power play here, and only 2.5 minutes to go before halftime.
And Dallas would like to get the lead back, and one of the reasons is, if you believe in statistics, they'll show you that when Dallas is led at the end of the first half, they've won 7 times, and that's how many wins they have in the playoffs. So every time that the Dallas Sidekicks have taken a lead at the end of the first half, they have won the game. And look at that, when they're behind, they are 0-5. And that's almost an expected statistic to be behind, because this Sidekicks team is basically a young team, and with the exception of players like Borland, who played several years in the NASL, and a Tatu, who has experience, although he's only 25. They don't have the players that have been around for a long time. You look at the other side, you've got a Jungle, you've got Davis, who played in so many pressure games with the Cosmos. You've got Tuksha. You've got so many players on that side that have had so much experience, in contrast to the other side. So that's one of the reasons why Tacoma should have been the favorite side coming in. And look what that man Jungle has done. 32 points in the playoffs, almost a couple of, well, actually he has been doing better than a couple of points per game in the playoffs. And it's not that he had a shabby regular season, but something about the playoffs just seems to bring out the very best in the very best.
Well, we just saw him set up that tying goal. As you say, that was the very best. It was a very well taken first pass, and then laid off beautifully for Megson, who really wasn't marked tightly at all. Now you see Papaleo doing a very good job. We're looking at the goalkeeper stats here. Papaleo very strong with a 3.6 goals against average. That's awfully good against some real tough firepower. Manning, of course, no longer in the series. Toth likewise, but Sobieski just fourth there, but only percentage points away. These are two classy keepers here, and you heard his coach say what an asset to Dallas Sobieski has been. He's really been, Tatu clearing away is the player of the year for them, but Sobieski, I think, is certainly their number 2.
There's some Sidekicks fans that we showed you earlier when Tacoma scored that the Blue Battalion, as they like to be known as, made the trip from Tacoma. Here's Tatu shooting wide. Loose ball, and it's cleared out on the power play as it's just underway. Sobieski to Willie Milano. Hey, give those people from Tacoma credit. That's a long trip, no matter which mode of transportation you choose. Willie Milano to Tatu, lays it off for Lawson. Back across to Milano again. Watch out for Carpin. He has the only power play goal for Dallas in this game, but he's got 8 in the playoffs. On the right side, Lawson. Holden. Back to Milano with 2 minutes to go in the half. Tied at 2. Played over to Lawson again. Lawson marked up by Megson, out to Willie Milano. Milano still bothered by the virus. On the left side, Stride. Looked like he miskicked it, and now Lawson will get it back. Out to Milano. 1 minute 15 on the power play. Milano cuts it to Lawson.
They're not getting the ball to Tatu. Now they
are. He lays it off. A strike shot. A good save for Papaleo. Tatu will pick it up about 45 feet out. Back heels it off for Willie Milano. In the corner for David Stride. Plays it off the boards. Out to the right side. Lawson doesn't have a good chance to tee it up with less than a minute to go on the power play. Out to Milano. Back on the right side for Lawson. Lawson gives it back to Milano, the former Laser. On the left, Stride strikes it high and wide. Lawson again. Dallas not getting a good penetration pass and not getting a shot from in close. Maybe here, but Tatu couldn't recover his balance. Stride gets it. Blocked. Loose ball. Still battling. Stride, and kicks off the referee Herb Silva. It's still obviously playable as Blassingame brings it back and Stride takes it away. 20 seconds left. One more opportunity here for Dallas. 48 seconds left in the half. Milano to Stride. Stride in the corner across. It's behind everyone. Lawson will get it. Milano wide open, but right now they're not hitting him. Now it's out to Milano. Willie cutting right by the arc. Lays it off for Lawson. Blocked. And it comes all the way back out to Milano. The penalty's over on Tacoma. Milano outside the arc. Plays it in. Papaleo almost lost it. Almost lost it. 20 seconds left in the half. And it's tied at 2. Megson. Now clearing it up. On the right side, Black. Bothered by Kevin Smith. Plays it back to Megson. Over the midfield line. Neil Megson, who had the tying goal, will slow it down, and the Tacoma Stars at the end of the first half, after trailing on 2 different occasions by a goal, have tied it up as Sobieski walks off the floor. He's not had to make a spectacular save up to this point, but they're waving the white towels here in Dallas as the Sidekicks have played their best game thus far in Game 3 of the best of 7.
And have survived, I think, really also some fairly uneven play by Tacoma as they are tied up 2-2 with the home team.
Third quarter now underway, even at 2. Tacoma has never led in this game up to this point. Ball played in the jungle. Almost got free in the box. Stride tackled it away, and it goes out of play. David Stride telling Jungle to get up. That's easier said than done. He took quite a hit there. Jungle's played this game with a lot of nagging injuries, and maybe more so this year than ever. He's getting up there in terms of age, although he's not an old player by any means, but at 32, he's not 25, 26 anymore, and sometimes, not sometimes, most times it hurts a little bit more. But like I said earlier, he gets back up and he'll punish it. Ball played up now for Tatu. For Moreland, knocked up by Megson. Tatu will get it back, and if Jungle has been the standard bearer for this league, the torch has been passed on to this man, Tatu, because he's the guy the whole league and its fans are talking about. Right side, Milano. For Tatu, knocked away. Good anticipation by Jerry Gray. Now on the left side, Stride. Ahead for Victor Moreland. Moreland in the corner. In a 2-2 tie, Ralph Black on him. 14-18 left in the third. This one just underway. Stride blocked. He'll try this time going to the right. Knocks it back into the neutral zone for Lawson. Off the right side boards for Willie Milano. And then back for Lawson it comes. Milano still looks like that virus is bothering him because he's not as quick as he normally is and not getting as many opportunities as we saw in an earlier regular season game with Baltimore when he was really flying. Here's Milano. Trying to lay it off, but McLeod wasn't coming. They misread each other. Preki. Nice try, but it's blocked. And then McLeod tackle, late whistle. I thought he got the ball.
I thought he got all ball. And Heel just fell over his outstretched foot. Well, guess we're going to take another look at it. Well, here you see the ball touched away. Now watch McLeod reach in there. Well, it's a little hard to tell from that angle, but at first blush it looked like a pretty good tackle, and on the replay it looked like a foul. So who says a referee's job is easy?
No, we never said it.
I thought I heard you say that once.
No. Only off the record I've said that. Never on the record. As Tatu takes it on the left side for Powers. Now back out to Wes McLeod for Tatu. Look how deep he is there in the neutral zone. Trying to shake free in the middle of the field and get away from those boards. On the right side, Powers wanting to turn. Gives it to Tatu. And Megson was right there with him stride for stride. McLeod, bad groin and all, with a good reaction on Preki. In for Tatu. Score!
If Jungle is the Lord of all indoors, then this man has got to be King Tat, because he can score a lot of goals. And here goes his shirt.
Well, that took him a while to do it, so I'm not sure what the reason is, but I think that he's not all that happy maybe about the way his game is going and the way the Sidekicks game is going, but that goal, Seamus, gives him the lead again.
Well, look how fast he releases this shot, though. Good work by Preki stealing the ball. I'm sorry, not by Preki, but by McLeod from Preki, and then the quick release right into the upper corner. He didn't even look at the goal. He took the ball. He knew the keeper was coming. He knew the keeper was eventually going to sprawl. But McLeod steals it nicely from Preki. Right into the quick turn. Bang, into the roof of the net. Terrific finishing by Tatu. This is why they love him so much in Dallas and why he's such an attraction wherever he goes on the MISL road.
That's going to be a goalkeeper's nightmare, seeing him with the ball and a little time and turning all in one quick motion. Tatu buries it at 1:53 of the third quarter. Milano against Gray in the corner. 3-2 Dallas. Shot in front, wide of Papaleo. Tatu and Preki jam after it. Into the corner they go. Milano over to help out. Banged it away from Megson. Almost ran him over. Now Ralph Black back to Papaleo with just barely enough on it. Roll to the left side for Gray. 9:07 to go. Third quarter, 3-2. Dallas leading it. Sobieski clears it, but right on the foot of Jerry Gray, who traps it there. Gray to heel, wanting to turn on Stride. Nice job. Almost Strides with him off the boards. Gray will push it in. Jerry Gray with a great goal. It's tied at 3. He was stopped on the first try, but he rolled that ball in. But the man that makes it, Seamus, is Gary Heel, and even though he's got David Stride on him, he put that ball toward goal. If you put it towards goal, something's bound to happen.
Well, Jerry Gray, of course, got the pass initially from the bad clearance, a sort of almost semi-panic clearance by Sobieski, who hit a bad ball out of his own penalty area. And this is what Gray did at the end of it. He passed it into Heel. Heel's got Stride on him, but he spins away from him and hits it across off the board. And Jerry sort of mishits the first one. The keeper is there, Sobieski, but eventually he manages to squeeze it in the corner. But Jerry Gray should get full credit for the work, and Sobieski's going to be a little bit unhappy with that one.
Back the other way comes Gray. Left side blasting game, and it's stopped on the short side by Sobieski. Out to Gray. Shot is blocked in front. As I said earlier, Sobieski has not had to make any kind of spectacular saves in this one thus far, and he's looked a little shaky a couple of plays in reacting. Off the left wing boards, Wes McLeod.
Dallas still playing, by the way, with 5 fouls here. They've got to be careful they don't give up one more.
Willie Milano brings it back right by the red line. Wanted to give and go, but Carpenter was hit by Black. I think Black saw that give and go coming. He takes the 5th foul. But if he doesn't knock Carpenter off his stride, Milano may get a great ball and walk in. So Milano will have a free kick here from about 40 feet out in a 3-3 tie. Milano obtained in the 1-for-1 deal with Marcio Leite with Los Angeles. Here is McLeod again against Billy Crook. Back to Milano. A lot of injuries this year for Milano. Still hasn't realized his full potential. Both players are back on, Megson and Tatu. So the sides are equal. 5 apiece on the attack. Back to the goalkeeper, Sobieski. Now to McLeod. 20 seconds left in the third quarter. Even at 3. And we may go into the fourth quarter with that same score as it's knocked back to Sobieski. 14 seconds left. On the right side to Stride with 10 seconds. David Stride chipping it long for Tatu. Papaleo missed. Tatu trying to settle with 5 seconds. 4, 3. Tatu is left. Let's it go. Score! With a second to go in the quarter. Unbelievable for Tatu, but he's done it all year. those towels one more time, I guess. That's extra effort indeed for Tatu with a second to go. And that just shows you how brilliant the man is.
Well, tremendous opportunity. He knew that there were only 4 or 5 seconds left. He knew he had a one-on-one situation. The defense relaxed, which is absolutely deadly. You cannot relax against this man. Even when the buzzer is gone, you don't relax. And they relaxed too much, and that man was victimized by the tremendous finishing ability of this guy, Tatu. King Tat, as I call him. He really can do the number. Watch it now as it comes out. A bad clearance, and it's by Papaleo. He's got to turn on his man. He fakes him with one way and then fires very quickly with the left foot. Nexon really is turned around. He knows there are only a few seconds left. He surely thinks this is easy to take care of. And all of a sudden, they give up a goal with 1 second to go. It's something that you love to get and hate to give up.
Ingram just blasted away. That's a smart thing to do. That's your only chance to score at that point. But there's the man, Tatu, that scores. And if you think back, remember, on the ball that was shot in, Papaleo had missed it. And that's where the problem basically started. So Dallas leads for the 4th time tonight. Tatu with his second goal. 124. And remember, last June, they announced the franchise was folding. Jan Rogers, a local person, came through. So did Jim Graham and Stan Finney. They saved it. This is their second sellout of the year. Dallas leads it 4-3. The go-ahead goal was Tatu's, and incidentally, they changed the scoring on his first goal, on the first goal by Carpenter, so he's now got 2 goals and 2 assists. Here's another look.
Well, here's, I think, the first goal of the period, the steal by McLeod, and the touch in, and the quick turn, the left-footed drill into the upper corner, and that put him up again, 3-2, just as the second half was underway. But like all these one-goal leads, they've disappeared awfully quickly, this time in under 5 minutes. As Gray broke down the field, getting a bad Sobieski clearance, played the ball into Heel. Heel shielded the ball nicely from Stride, then turned off to his right and spun it off the dasher, and there was Gray ready to sort of to ram it into the goal. Really not very elegant, but very effective, tidying up the 3, and then 8 minutes later, at 14:59 with 1 second to go. And the third period, a long cross comes in, and Sobieski miskicks it. Oh, but what the heck, there's only a few seconds to go, he thinks. But this man, Tatu, is on it against Nexon, a quick turn and a quick left-footed shot. And it's that speed, the turn and the release of the shot, that's a lot of Tatu's secret, putting his team ahead 4-3 as they go into the 4th quarter now in this all-important game for Dallas.
So each goalkeeper basically makes a mistake on a critical goal. You remember Sobieski gave one up on Gray when he passed the ball away in there. Papaleo maybe relaxed just a second, or maybe just didn't get to that ball the way he wanted to, and that miss actually gives Dallas possession of the ball, and they went up 4-3. No one was open.
That's right, but very good concentrated defense by Tacoma, closing down the danger areas to goal very quickly and smothering these shots. They've looked impressive when they've been under stress.
And Waters, who probably gets the least amount of publicity among that Dallas backline, was the guy that did the job as this ball sails out of play. Waters had a very steady year for the Tacoma Stars, and I don't know how many block shots he's got individually for this game. I would have credited him with a few. He's got 40 coming in, and again, a record set by Gary Etherington a year ago with 47. That's in jeopardy, I would have to think, as we broadcast this game to you. Gordon Jago wanting to make sure that the intensity level is there for Dallas. He knows that it was missing in the first 2 games, and you've got to attribute that to the layoff. Alan Hinton on the other side knows that his team has come back before several times, in fact, in this game, and as long as his team is comfortable on the road, they'll never feel that they're out of it. And when you win 18 on the road, you're as comfortable on the road as you are at home.
Well, they also know they've not let Dallas get away from them. Dallas, they realize this is a must game for Dallas, and they've kept it nice and close the entire game, which is what they wanted.
Look out, Heel walks in there. Sobieski didn't make the play, and we've got David Stride down and maybe hurting. As Marty Templin comes over, he's been bothered by a bad toe, but I think Sobieski that time was very fortunate because he waited back there instead of coming out when it looked like he had plenty of time to challenge Gary Heel.
Well, Heel is going to try to flick this one over, but look at that reach in there by Stride. I think that's where he got hurt. So we'll see how serious that is when we come back.
Well, Sobieski may have been faked out as well with Stride coming in. In any event, it's still 4-3 Dallas, but they can't afford to go without David Stride. The NBA's Dallas Mavericks, and one of the Sidekicks' best fans is a player on the Mavericks. There's Mrs. Graham, who is the owner's wife, Jim Graham's wife, and Pamela Graham also works in the front office.
Stride
Dallas Sidekicks.
excuse me, JP, Stride has gone off the field hard to know what his injury was, but he was holding his right arm and elbow area. I thought it was his head initially. Well, I didn't know what it was initially, but it looked like the head, and then it was holding his arm. So we'll find out for you as quickly as we can. But that is a tough loss indeed if David Stride is gone for the night.
Ball played back now to Sobieski. Mentioning before that one of Donald Carter's players, Bill Winnington, is a big Dallas Sidekicks fan, and you'll find him at Sidekicks games actually waving one of these white towels, and that's what he does at Mavericks games. There's Sobieski looking on. You know, on second thought, as I looked at that replay, I think Sobieski was going to come out and challenge Hill, but he saw Stride coming in. There is Mr. Winnington. He's got that white towel. I understand he cut short a wedding that he was in New York just to come back here and watch games 3 and 4. That's a dedicated fan. Played college ball at St. John's, where Lou Carnesecca just keeps churning out the great players. Ingram. Now back in the neutral zone, Megson. Look at Heel and Uremovich talking about jockeying for position. They were both hanging on to each other. Carpenter with a reverse to Victor Moreland. 4-3, Dallas leading it. 11:41 to go. In this, the fourth quarter, McLeod, left-footed shot. Oh, Moreland hit the post, and Carpenter put it upstairs. I thought McLeod's initial shot was going to be right on goal. Moreland got a piece, and he just missed it.
What a great piece of work, though, by Wes McLeod. And we're going to see the fake. Here's Moreland's serve over to him. Now, you're going to see a great fake here by McLeod. Completely gets his guy out of position. It's Gray, and then puts it across, but Moreland can't quite touch it. And a good run, though, by Victor Moreland to get into that penalty area, timing his run perfectly with the ground that ground shot by the man on your screen, Wes McLeod. But what a nice fake by Wes McLeod, faking to his right, leaving the ball, which is, of course, one of the things you're always telling defenders to do. Don't watch the player's body quite so much. Watch where the ball is going, because the body will throw you off, as it did Gray on that particular occasion. And McLeod's shot could not be touched home by Moreland. So it's still a 1-goal lead.
That is a tough thing to do, too, for Victor Moreland, because he's not a forward. He's basically a defender playing up as a midfielder, and to make a deflection like that, usually it's the more skillful players, the good goal scorers who have that knack around the net. But what Victor can do up there is be very intimidating and really help to screen a goalkeeper and the like, or if he's open, bury that ball. But right there, that's a tough play, I think, for him to make. Tuesday, June 23rd, the second annual Budweiser Soccer Classic, hosted and promoted by the Cleveland Force, who did such a great job with the event last year. And then the following day, it's the MISL College Draft. And don't forget, for ticket information, to get in touch with the Cleveland Force, it's the super power play, Seamus. They pull the goalkeeper. Papaleo's out. Ralph Black is in. It's a gamble. Alan Hinton, Las Vegas style, rolling the dice.
Well, they got a power play for 34 seconds left to see if they can tie this game up. There's only 4.5 minutes to go in this game. They obviously need a goal right here if they can possibly do it. So super power play, 6 against 4.
Davis to Ralph Black, left side. Black again. Into the corner, Preki Jungo blocked in front of his own player, rebound block. Poked away, Uremovich with a great play. Tough break for Tacoma. The Jungo shot looked like it was going in, but it hit off heel. Blocked by Smith, he sends it long. It's looking good. Black after it, it's a goal!
Well, very good positional play to get this ball, but then to hit it all the way down the field like that with wonderful accuracy right through the center of the goal. What a terrific finish by Smith, hitting that ball almost the full length of the floor and rolling it right through the center of the goal, and a critical goal as they were really in all kinds of trouble and looked as though they were going to be tied up in the flurry just before the goal.
It's a great flurry, too, but the ball has eyes, and it doesn't go Tacoma's way.
Yeah, it looks like it was going to go in. There's the first shot, the second shot by Jungle. He can't reach from the floor, and actually touched it away from his own man, who was about to knock it in. And Rick Davis continues the attack. I think it was Godfrey Ingram was about to come in and knock that one in, And here's the steal. You see Smith stealing it, and he takes one quick look, pushes it the full length of the floor just about. Black races down, but can't quite catch up with it. And finally, a 2-goal lead for Dallas.
Unofficially, and I don't have the measuring stick out, that's about 160 feet away. And that's a tough shot to make under pressure. It just had enough on it. If that ball was any closer to Ralph Black, he would have risked injury to dive for it in some fashion, but he had no chance to even make a play at that. Alan Hinton will continue to roll the dice because now they're down by 2 with 4:10 to go. Ralph Black on the left side to Preki. Davis in a corner. To Ingram. It hit off Jungle. And now cleared up by McLeod. Tatu with Ralph Black there as Black wins the ball right in front of the Tacoma bench it goes. McLeod will knock it ahead of midfield. Preki to the left for Jungle. It's a 5-3 lead here as Sobieski will pick it up. That goal against the 6th attacker was the first time in the playoffs that Tacoma has given one up. And Kevin Smith got it. Kevin Smith, if my memory is correct, had the only Dallas 6th attacker goal this year as well.
Well, that's the first goal of the night for Dallas that Tatu has not had a part in. He had 2 goals, 2 assists, and then the 5th goal by Smith.
Ball played in now to Heel. Played it through and Lawson. Looked like he just scribbed that. He wanted to do a little bit better with that ball, but it's back in midfield to Black. 3:13 to go. 5-3. Dallas with the lead. The first time, as you mentioned, the 2-goal lead. Ingram across. Preki settling it off the right foot. Plays it out to Ralph Black. To Rick Davis. Davis, good pass on the left. Shifting the defense against Preki. The shot went wide. Lost it in some traffic. It deflects out to Davis, and Tacoma will keep possession and put the pressure on. So there's still some heat in the kitchen as it comes out to Black from 50. Right side, Rick Davis. Low shot blocked by Tatu, and Black has to go for it. Black in the neutral zone will cross midfield with 2:38 to play. A 5-3 Dallas lead. Right side, Godfrey Ingram to Black. Davis to Ingram, tees it up, it's wide. Here comes Preki, and it's blocked out of play by Radwanski. Good defense by number 6.
Well, they're missing David Stride through all this pressure on their defense. Jurimovic coming through for them. Radwanski coming through that time. And as you mentioned, Wes McLeod playing very well defensively in a couple of difficult situations.
I don't know where Stride is or how serious the attention he's getting from medical staff here, but I'm willing to bet that if there's a television set right now anywhere near the Dallas locker room, he's watching it. At the very least, he'll be listening to the game on Dallas radio as Jerry Gray will don the 6th attacker jersey. Black had a long stretch out there, and Alan Hinton trying to change things up a little bit. Stride might not even be in the dressing room anymore. He may be out somewhere watching this.
Seco has come in now for Rick Davis.
Only Seco's 2nd shift of the night. From the near boards, Tacoma will put it in play. It's sent out quickly. Seco drills it upstairs, and the fans have to watch out. Some of the fans, I might add, who look like they spent their allowance money this week, Seamus, at the paint store.
Well, it's always nice to have a little left over when you're finished with the cellar, you know. Got to do something with it. Seco, as you mentioned, only his 2nd shift. Only his 2nd shift, and showing it a little bit with that shot. It was well set up for him, and he just really has not had much of an opportunity to get into the flow of this game, and he just skied it into the crowd.
Ball is played back now. Lawson lifting it for Kevin Smith. Up for Tatu. Tatu, look at the juggling there, but Seco blocks it. Ingram back to help out, and we're back for Jerry Gray. 2:10 to go in the game. 5-3 Dallas. Sidekicks leading it in a strange game. On the right side, Gary Heel. Taken down by Mark Crippen. 7th foul on Dallas, but they're a long way from any foul trouble. They need to get to 12 before they lose another player. Ball played into Preki, and it's kicked up. It looked like Heel the wrong way.
Well, Wes McLeod was in there again, putting all kinds of pressure on Heel. I don't know if he got the touch, but
Seco will play it into Ingram. Godfrey Ingram into the corner. Cutting in the box. Jungle was blocked. Ingram blocked by Kevin Smith. May have saved the goal. No way for Sobieski to have seen that. Now it's out for Jerry Gray. Godfrey Ingram into the corner. Cutting in the box. Jungle was blocked. Ingram blocked by Kevin Smith. May have saved the goal. No way for Sobieski to have seen that. With Ingram and Lawson. Lawson will win it. Looking. Wanted Carpin. Now it's back to the Stars. Lawson will take it away by midfield. Back for Tatu. He is clipped. It goes to Lawson. Was there a whistle somewhere? Apparently Herb Silva on the opposite side as Tatu draws the 4th foul on Tacoma. Don't forget, as we take a look at the last foul.
Not much question about this. I think a very dodgy challenge in there, and Tatu lucky to survive injury from that one. He's coming out now. They probably want him off the field for the rest of the game, frankly. They've got their 2-goal lead. They got a minute 14. Yeah,
the adrenaline is flowing right there. Don't forget, coming up after this game, we'll go to Sports Center on ESPN, so we hope you'll stick around for that, for all the latest results in all of sports today. McLeod on the left side will get it back off the boards. Lifting it ahead, Willie Milano. Jerry Gray, the 6th attacker, minding the store the other way for Tacoma. Less than a minute to go in the game. Back for Gray. Milano got it free. It's loose. The header too high. Great effort, though, from Milano. In the corner, it's Carpet. Sending it out the right side, Yurevich. 45 seconds to play in what should be one of the Dallas Sidekicks' most memorable victories because they had their backs to the wall. McLeod cutting, passing, save. Jerry Gray making it there. How many times do you see that 6th attacker come up with a big save? Here's Carpet in. McLeod missed. Would have been nice to see McLeod get something there for all of his work tonight. 23 seconds left. He has done it all back there for Dallas.
Well, I think he has done a great job. And Tatu, though, has got to be our candidate for the MetLife Player of the Game for the home team.
Ball lifted the other way. We'll have those MetLife winners for you when we come back. Right now, we're staying here. 9 seconds to play. Now, one more second ticked off the clock before it was whistled dead. 16,824. It seems like every time they get a win now, they'll say it's their biggest victory because it keeps them going. They had some big wins against Baltimore, big ones against Cleveland. This is a big one because if they were down 3 games to nothing, game 4 tomorrow night could very well have been academic. Ball will be put in play by Tacoma. 7 seconds. Radwanski setting it long. This will be wide. 2 seconds. 1. They love it in Dallas, Texas. The Sidekicks are winners over the Tacoma Stars, 5-3.